The night in Lekki was alive with the pulse of neon lights and distant music from the club. The streets were humid, thick with the smell of roasted corn, fuel, and salt from the coast. Kemi had parked her car near the edge of the street, locking it quickly. She was tired, mind buzzing with lines of code and business emails, but curiosity had lured her out to meet a friend in the quieter alley behind the club. She hadn't expected to see him. Jide. He was tense, shadowed by the flickering streetlight, his hands raised in a confrontation with a man Kemi didn't
this
recognize.
Has nothing to do with her. You need to
His voice was low, controlled, but hard.
You pay up, Jide.
You said this ends tonight, Jide said, stepping closer. No more mistakes. The man sneered. You think you can just leave? You're nothing without the old crew. You can't outrun your debts. Kemi's heart skipped. She had heard rumors of him in the news years ago, a name whispered among the streets. Ex-gang. Dangerous. But he looked different now. Softer, cautious, as if carrying invisible chains. Before she could process it, the man lunged. Jide moved, and in the sudden chaos, a gun went off. Kemi froze, the world splitting in an instant. Pain flared in her side, sharp and unyielding. She collapsed onto the pavement, the smell of smoke and dust in her nose. Jide's eyes widened. No. He dove toward her, shielding her from the lingering danger. Stay with me.
Kemi!
Don't close your eyes. Panic and adrenaline collided as he carried her into the shadows. The neon lights of the street blurred, their world reduced to the faint thrum of his heartbeat and the shallow breaths of hers. When she finally stirred, Kemi saw the man, Jide, kneeling beside her, his eyes wide with fear she hadn't expected from someone of his reputation. You're hurt, he said, voice low, trembling just enough to betray the storm of emotion underneath. I didn't mean. You shot me, she whispered, her voice a mix of anger and disbelief. Why? He shook his head violently. It was a mistake. You? One night, Kemi spoke, almost afraid to voice the truth, Jide. I think I'm falling for you. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he took her hand and held it to his chest. I'm already there, he said. I've been there from the moment I carried you into that alley. I just didn't know it could be this real. For the first time, Kemi saw a vulnerability behind his calm exterior. A man who had fought ghosts, who had faced death, now trembling because of love. But love in Lagos, especially one tied to old shadows, never stays safe. A message arrived on his phone, simple and chilling. She knows too much. Take care of your business or lose everything. Jide's jaw tightened. He showed Kemi, who read the words and felt a cold drop in her stomach. What happens now? She asked. Now, he said, we fight the past without letting it ruin the future. And so they did. In a slow, tense chase across the city, through crowded markets, along Lekki streets, down the docks, Jide guided her, keeping her out of sight, always calm, always near. Every glance held love and apology at once. Every hand squeeze promised protection. Every whispered word reminded her she was safe, for now. Weeks later, when the danger faded, Kemi stood on her balcony in Yaba, city lights stretching to the horizon. Jide came up beside her, hands warm around hers. You're safe, she whispered. Because you made me want to be better, he said softly. She looked at him, smiling, tears threatening to fall. I didn't think I'd survive Lagos and love at the same time. You survived because you're strong, he replied. And because we survived together. For a long time, they simply watched the city, hearts aligned in quiet defiance of a world that never stopped moving. Voice over CTA. Sometimes the hardest love to find is the one that saves you. Sometimes the people who seem dangerous are the ones who protect your heart. If this story touched you, subscribe, like, and comment, share who you'd protect at all costs.